Friday night under the lights in the Premier League against local rivals. It doesn't get much better than this. Welcome along to Matchday Live as the Foxes look to make it 3 wins in a row following that dramatic win against Southampton just under a week ago.
Got beyond Justin and he pulls it back and it's 2-0. Joe Aribo. He gets to the byline, he cuts it back and Buenanote has scored. Game on. Abdul Fatawu, what an impact off the bench. From the spot, right when it scores, brilliant power. Jamie Vardy makes it 2-2. Oh, shot it in with the last kick of the game. It is an away day for the ages at St Mary's.
If you call it home.
Yes, quite the win a week ago down on the south coast. Tonight, though, it's local rivals Nottingham Forest. The last time we faced them under the lights, this happened. A fantastic 4-0 victory at King Power Stadium. Let's hope the same happens again this evening. We're an hour, of course, away from kickoff for this East Midlands derby. Welcome along to Matchday Live with me, Dan Bates, Matt Elliott and Ewan Roberts. Great to have you back again with us. Join me in the studio for this one, and it very much, judging from the media room downstairs, the talk around it, feels like a big Premier League game tonight, Ewan.
I think it always is, Dan, when you play your arch rivals who have made a great start to the season under the floodlights at home. I mean, from the pictures there already, there's a few fans already in the stadium looking forward to it. On the, as you said, back-to-back wins. If they can win this one tonight, 3 wins in succession. Haven't done that in the Premier League since January 2021. And I mean, that result last week, I think the impact and the effect that can have in the manner that it came, 2-0 down after 26, 27 minutes to come back and score 3 goals in that second half, that can have such a positive impact on your season going forward.
Yeah, and I think it's really buoyed the fans as well, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Because I think, not the jury was out, but there was mixed opinions on Leicester's start. But these last two wins have really sort of infused the supporters, I think, as well, haven't they? And then the manner of them. Well, that game against Southampton was ridiculous for a number of reasons, wasn't it? But mainly for the incredible comeback from Leicester City, and it was a joy to watch. And any supporters that were there they've had many days of their lives at this football club, but it was one of the best days of their lives as a Leicester City supporter. And everyone at home watching it as well, we picked up and feed off that and bring that into tonight's game as well, for a number of reasons. But I mean, you got the rivalry that you mentions. Some people sort of say that rivalry isn't that intense, but there's an edge there, at least, isn't there? You've got a memorial service in remembrance service that's going to be honoured before the game, and then on top of that, you've got Convichai's remembrance as well, and the tragic, accident that occurred where 5 people lost their lives, and so tremendous poignancy around the fixture. And on top of that, you've got an exciting Premier League game as well. Hopefully, the quality of the game is befitting of the occasion. And
you've got a manager who's now managing Leicester, who had a fantastic time
I forgot that one,
at Nottingham Forest. When he took over, I think they had 1 point from 7 games, transformed that football club. He's still highly thought of up at the City ground, but now he's Leicester City manager, and I think he'll be delighted with the start that the club have made, Dan.
Yeah, so many nuances ahead of this game with Forest this evening, so many talking points, so a lot for us to talk about during Matchday Live as we build up to kickoff, which is, of course, just under now an hour away. We'll get you all the team news in a moment, some really headline team news as well. Before we do that, though, we will take a closer look back at what happened down on the South Coast under a week ago. And we'll hear from two of the people that were instrumental in that. Harry Winks and Jordan Ayew also talking about that 3-2 win over Southampton, as well as hearing from the GOAT, Jamie Vardy. He's been speaking ahead of this game with Nottingham Forest on this Friday evening. Right, I teased you a little bit there. Team news. There are some big headlines, it's fair to say. Ricardo Pereira notably makes his first start of the season for Steve Cooper and for the Foxes this evening. There's a couple of other changes as well that are a little bit eye-catching. Abdul Fatawu on the right-hand side, he was so good off the bench, wasn't he, against Southampton. He starts from the off tonight. In also comes Harry Winks, who was also influential off the bench at St Mary's. This is the 11 then. It's Hermansen in goal. Justin on the left, we believe. We think it'll be that way round. Fass and Okoli, the two central defenders, with Ricardo, again, we think at right back. Winks and Ndidi are the two holding players, with Mavididi, Buonanotte and Fatawu supporting Jamie Vardy. There were a lot of supporters calling for that front four. That's exactly what it is tonight. On the bench, it's Ward, Cody, Elkanous, Decordover-Reid, Ayew, Skip, Samare, Edouard and Luke Thomas. From a Nottingham Forest point of view, Nuno Espirito Santo won't be in the dugout. He serves the second of his 3-match touchline suspension. He wasn't in the dugout for their win over Palace on Monday, and he names the same team that beat Crystal Palace earlier in the week. It's Sells in goal, Moreno, Murillo, Milenkovic and Aina across the back four. Dominguez and Yates are the two holding midfielders, with Hudson-Odoi, Anderson, who deputised brilliantly for the injured Morgan Gibbs-White on Monday, and Elanga support former Leicester man Chris Wood, who has 5 goals in the Premier League at the start of this season. You listed many reasons why tonight, Matt, is a big game. You didn't even talk about the team, did you?
No.
And the fact that you look on social media, the reactions, the Leicester fans are certainly happy with what they see.
Yeah.
Are you happy with what you see?
Yeah, from the outset, we have to wait and see how things transpire. But I think it's fair to say that a lot of people have been advocating Ricardo to get a starting spot. Fatawu, generally, but especially after last week's game against Southampton, and and Harry Winks. I mean, he missed out at the start of last week, and was it the game before as well? He didn't. Was he subbed that game? Oh, my memory.
Fatawu?
No, sorry, Harry Winks.
Oh, Harry Winks, yes.
Missed a game and a half, didn't he? Which would have sort of raised a few eyebrows, but I think there was justification in trying a different pairing in there. But Harry Winks is too good a player to be out of the rankings for too long, really. But I think, listen, I'm not going to say that that's Leicester's best team. At the moment, I would think most people would say, at this juncture, people would say Steve Cooper's got it about right. Steve Cooper sees the players day to day, and I would trust his judgment more than mine because of what he sees day to day. But I think most people are happy with that lineup, certainly from the outset.
I think he's changed the right-hand side. Both Southampton goals came from that side. Whether he
well,
thinks,
it's been mentioned a number of goals have come
from
down that right-hand side. Not labelling James Justin individually, but
I mean, I think what Fatawu brings to the table. I mean, we know what he gives you going forward and the way he cuts in. And I mean, he hit the bar with a magnificent shot last week at I was going to call it the Den then, St Mary's. But I think he does give you more defensively. He will get back and help whatever right back it is. Today it's Ricardo, and maybe Steve thinks that combination of Fatawu and Ricardo can look after Hudson-Odoi and Moreno, who loves getting forward.
It would have been interesting to see, as Christensen has obviously received an injury, hasn't he, to some degree, I would imagine, with him being out of the squad. I don't know if we've had that info delivered to us, but I would presume that was the case. So it'd be interesting to see whether there would have been that change in the fullback positions.
Had he been fit?
Had he been fit? Because he's done a decent job. He's been steady as well. But there has been a clamouring for Ricardo, and understandably so. He's a quality performer.
He's very much a fan's favourite.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, with good reason. You feel that his sort of career has been blighted. Well, it has been blighted by injuries, bad times for him. But he comes back. He's such a nice fella, such a good, honest pro as well as being a quality performer. But just looking at the team, you mentioned the teams, Batesy, but it's a proper good matchup as well, isn't it? Like they're similar style, isn't it? Really, Vardy and Wood.
4-2-3-1 versus
same formation. They've got two exciting, dangerous wide players. So have Leicester. You've got creativity there with Anderson, who's a better player than people give credit for. Buonanotte in opposition for Leicester. All the way through the team, there's sort of similarities, and it makes for a real good matchup. Hopefully, they don't cancel each other out.
No, and you look at Forest as well. Their record's been good, obviously, Ewan, at the start of this season. In fact, since Nuno came in, has been pretty good in general terms, and they don't concede many goals. They don't score a huge amount, but the key thing for them is they don't concede many. But they're coming up against a team that, other than Man City, are the only side to score in every game in the Premier League this season.
I was looking earlier in the week when I was doing my prep, Matt, and I know you'll appreciate this.
It takes you a while, doesn't it?
I mean,
like
Leicester have scored 3 goals less than Liverpool and Arsenal, and look where those two are in the division. And you're right, Dan. I think the 5th lowest scorer is Nottingham Forest. Chris Wood's been unbelievable, as you said, 5 goals already. I think you got 14 last season. But I think only Liverpool have conceded less goals. I think they've scored 8, they've conceded 8. You can see why they've had the start.
Conceded 6.
Conceded 6. I've got that one wrong. Went to Liverpool, and only the second team to beat Liverpool at Anfield in 35 Premier League games, kept a clean sheet. You can see why they're sitting as high as they are when they're conceding as little goals as they have done.
Yeah, it's going to be a real matchup today. In fact, it was a matchup on the South Coast as well, wasn't it? Just under a week ago, Matt Elliott made the trip down to Southampton. Was very glad that he did in the end because of that incredible second half performance.
Southampton have played the ball quickly, and Walker-Peters from the free kick is striding forward to the edge of the box, and he slipped in Manning. Manning's cross, it's 1-0. Turned home by Cameron Archer. Southampton with the early goal in this fixture this season at St Mary's. They took the free kick quickly, and it caught Leicester out, and Archer couldn't miss. Southampton 1, Leicester 0 in the South Coast sunshine.
I was going to say a little bit harsh, wasn't it? They wanted Manning to turn and look goalwards, but Walker-Peters trying to do that.
Yeah, and he's got beyond Justin, and he pulls it back, and it's 2-0. Joe Aribo from an almost identical position to where Cameron Archer swept home has done the same. Leicester beaten down their right-hand side, and Southampton chasing their first Premier League win of the season. Winks firm pass back to Fatawi. Now, can he beat Ryan Fraser here, who is now the left wing back? He can. He gets to the byline. He cuts it back, and Buonanotte has scored. Game on. Abdul Fatawu, what an impact off the bench. The Leicester players turn to the travelling fans and say this one is not over yet. 64 gone. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. Jamie Vardy simply loves scoring against Southampton. He's up against Aaron Ramsdale from the spot. Right-footed scores. Brilliant power. Jamie Vardy makes it 2-2. And against 10 men, Leicester are now dreaming of winning it on the South Coast. Can they win it with the last attack? Here it comes. It's back to Ayew. Ayew shot. It's in with the last kick of the game. It is an away day for the ages at St Mary's. And the away end is going absolutely crazy. What a game. What a win for Leicester City. Jordan Ayew in the 98th minute.
Yeah, I think we're only just over it, really, what happened on Saturday down at Southampton. I love the fact that you can hear Matt on the commentary just under his breath. Unbelievable, with a huge smile on his face. You can tell you're grinning as well when that winner goes in, because you're right, it was unbelievable.
It's not technically the professional manner, is it? You're not meant to sort of have an input of it. But I found myself, like I don't know what the word is, but double commentating on Chris Parrott, who was doing the main bit, obviously. But there's a time and a place to interject, but I couldn't help myself at times. It was just crazy the way the way things unfolded, and then culminated in that third goal there. I mean, you're thinking, Leicester have had their chance, because they had a couple of situations just before
When
that.
Anotte had one a couple of minutes before it.
Yeah, and you thought, oh, come on, you're pushing your luck here now. You know, it's not going to happen. Good effort.
And then they got this
fair
corner.
dues. 98th minute, whatever it was. It was a minute over the original allotted injury time. It's just like, how many of those corners work like that? I mean, I know there's some that are sort of a bit more methodical, but put it out the edge of the box. It's not even that inventive, is it? It was off the cuff, apparently so, wasn't it? The fair play, but you know, it's something that's been done for years, and how many times people score from it is not many, and not in the 98th minute. But somehow Jordan,
When you
who
2-0 down.
didn't even strike it properly.
But I tell you what,
Fumbles
it
into
wasn't
the
the
box.
easiest of balls to strike, I don't
No,
think.
it's done well to keep it down on target at all, and you're thinking,
And do you know
but to
what-
find its way through like umpteen bodies without someone getting a touch, and
Do you know what makes me laugh? When Jordan Ayew runs to celebrate with the Leicester fans in that corner, you see one blue shirt running to celebrate in front of the Southampton fans, Jamie Vardy.
yeah.
I was at Ewood Park, Dan, and obviously the scores are coming through. Leicester 1-0 down, 2-0 down. I'm thinking, oh no, not down there. And then second half, come back to 2-2, and I'm delighted. And our game had finished, and I'm talking to the presenter in Cardiff, and it's 5 o'clock, and she's gone, oh, Leicester have just scored a third. You should have heard me. I went absolutely mental live on air.
Excellent.
it's crazy.
Still
Crazy.
Leicester at heart, you and aren't you?
That was a short journey for you, Norwich to Ewood.
Speaking of the celebrations that Ewan was doing, clearly the celebrations are full-time.
Yeah.
Were unbelievable. Not just a full-time, when the goal goes in, you can see a few on there. Obviously, we've got videos of them as well.
They
The
don't do
away
it
end,
justice.
the players, everyone just almost lost themselves in the moment, that euphoric. That's what football's about.
Yeah, the videos and any camera shots that I've seen don't actually do it justice how it was live. I mean, I took my headphones off for a bit because I wanted to hear the noise properly. I could see the sight even from the other side of the pitch, but I was imagining, I'd love to be in the mix.
This is the view here when it turns to the away end in a minute, and you just see.
Yeah, I mean that's a good view. Don't get me wrong,
Limbs.
but like you get like the.
Had that been a second goal for Leicester, it'd have felt like a win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because having been in that situation, 2-0 down,
claw their way back.
to claw their way back to get a 2-2, it'd have felt like a win coming back to Leicester.
But the noise was echoing off the roof as well, so it was like amplified. It was brilliant. It was just like I don't get overexcited about too many things in life in general, rather than my football. But I like watching it, obviously, you know. But it really got to you there, and you couldn't help but be emotional about it. 'Cause it's just great to see people having a wonderful time. I know there's an opposite to that because of the devastation from the Southampton fans, but you know, you enjoy the moments when you can, don't you?
And what happened 5 years ago tonight? Do you know, Matty?
5 years ago tonight.
More
Yeah.
pain on Southampton, wasn't it?
Was that the?
A 9-0.
That was the 9-0, was it? Was it that similar timings? Yeah, I should have known that, but yeah. Yeah, it was funny how it works. I mean, it just sums football up, doesn't it? Was it 9-0? I think Leicester lost at home, didn't they? Same season, 1-0.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
the joys of football.
Funny old game. We kind of asked you at the time, and it's a difficult one because of what had happened. Even in the post-match show that we did,
Yeah.
everything was basically on the goal. We didn't really get time to do much else.
Yeah.
Who was the catalyst, do you think, in that second half to the comeback?
Oh, I think everyone's mentioned it. It's quite a straightforward question, really, for Taru mainly. But yeah, everyone had a role to play, didn't they, really? But, yeah, Leicester were in it in the first half. Steve Cooper has been quoted and see him saying about, I felt we were still in at half time, not blindly so. I'm not trying to be clever after the moment. But yeah, listen, these clips here for Taru. I still think that was in. From the angle I was sat at, which was opposite side of the pitch, it looked like it hit the bar and went in, bizarrely, but obviously went wide. And then he's there in the penalty situation. Is this the corner? That corner? No, I'm getting it wrong. I thought that corner was the one that...
This one. Is it this one?
One of them were anyway. But
No,
look
that
at
one
that, the
flipped
amount of
through.
times.
I think that clip that they showed was the corner that ultimately Leicester scored from in the 98th minute. I think that's why the clip's been showing in the wrong running order. But yeah.
Do you know what I like there? We've seen clips of him 5 or 6 times, And we know he loves coming in on his left foot, which he did in the one clip where he did and hit the bar, so unlucky not to score. But the amount of times he goes down the line and pulls balls back, it just shows that, you know, he's got both of those options in his locker. And was it Ryan Fraser who was picking
Fraser
him up?
came on and
and changed the game.
It got worse than who's the lad who used to be at Burnley? Taylor came on. Didn't have much more success either.
Well, the really. Buonanotte goal came obviously from Abdul Fattawu. We just saw a quick clip of it there. We can see a bit more. And Matt said when we were watching the highlights that they were clearly saying he wants to go on his left, show him on his right. So he said, "Okay, I'll go on my right," and he created that.
To me, it looks as if they were told he only goes on his left. Like they were doubling up, and they were still over-exaggerating it. Look, I mean, okay, Fraser's probably got his bearings wrong to a degree, but it's almost like they're saying, You can over-exaggerate if you want, lads, because he doesn't go on his right. Well, he does, very occasionally, but not as often as he did on
I
Saturday.
think they've probably sort of tried to do their analysis, tried to do their homework, would have seen Fattawu play against them twice last season, and 9 times out of 10 wanted to drift inside and put a ball in with his left foot or have a shot himself. So maybe over-exaggerated the defensive position to show him down the line, and it cost them. I mean, that's a typical that's a Jamie Vardy type of goal. I think. You know,
the fact that he's in that position.
He's in that position. He's made that run across his defender. I was shocked that Vardy hadn't done that. But I mean, he looks a proper talent, by the way.
Yeah, good player without doubt. I think that's Steve Cooper making reference to Fattawu, saying, you know, we're trying to develop him into a fully fledged Premier League player. And I think, you know, some people might think, oh, you're trying to be a bit clever. You know, he's decent anyway, which he is. I think Cooper acknowledges that, but he's just trying to help him along, which is what coaches do, good coaches. And giving him that variety and a bit more regularity. I mean, I've always thought it. I tried to avoid one-on-one situations as much as I could for obvious reasons. I couldn't run.
It's been all right one-on-one against me.
Well, yeah, possibly with a bit of an assistant. No, but I just drop off and wait for help. But fullbacks can't afford to do that. But I always used to say to the wingers in the team, test them out. Go out there, don't make it easy for them. Go both sides. Even if then you've got them thinking.
If you've got a rapid winger,
a little bit.
You don't need a trick, Dan. You just knock that ball, and then you go after it.
Either way, or you've got the possibility of going either way. They position themselves differently, and it makes it easier to go one way than the other. So, and it seems like Fattawu's perhaps picking up on that.
Yeah, Facundo Buonanotte, you've been impressed, Ewan, haven't you? Even against Tottenham on that opening day, he looked bright for the 60 minutes that he played. He was influential again against Southampton, not just in the second half, in the first half too.
Yeah, I think his best position is where he starts tonight. We spoke about it earlier. I don't think he does enough defensively to play on that right-hand side. When you're playing as a number 10, you don't need that much sort of getting back and helping. I mean, he's got great balance. He loves running at defenders. You know, he's got an eye for a pass. Now, that was a great little threaded ball there. He's good awareness. Once again, it's a magnificent pass into Jamie Vardy. It's a great block, to be fair. But he does. I mean, he's only 19. He looks the real deal. I think Leicester have done so well to get him on loan from Brighton, and you know he seems to be enjoying it. He's thriving. You know, he's growing in confidence every game that he plays, and more importantly, he's scoring important goals.
And you think sometimes his age, the way he plays, that he'll get tired. He'll drift out of games, and he looks fatigued at certain stages, and you think, okay, fair play, make the switch, but sometimes that switch isn't made. Yeah, he gets second wind, and he's got plenty about him. Be interested to see tonight because Steve Cooper up to now has played, like you say, Buonanotte, played on the right on occasions, but in reality, he's often, unless they're going forward, he's often come inside and made up 2 number 10s, if you like. James Justin's been flying up on the outside. Will you do that with Fattawu tonight? Because Fattawu needs to be out wide on the right, doesn't he? You know, where he's most dangerous with Ricardo in support. But whether they employ that same tactic or not, we'll have to have a look at. But the good thing is Leicester have got lots of options now.
Yeah. Let's concentrate on that goal again then. Jordan Ayew scoring in the 98th minute thanks to a Harry Winks assist from the corner. And on the Tuesday morning that the players were back in at training, We sat them both down to talk through what a vital 3 points that was. Which will obviously get it now.
The epitome of football, to score in the last minute.
It's not every weekend you have this type of moment.
We had a bit of eye contact before the corner.
You can feel that you're running out of time. We play football for this type of moments.
You kind of think, well, better I'll jump in with the crowd here. An important goal, and it shows the importance of the squad and having people come off the bench to make an impact. I think the actual action wasn't pre-planned. It was actually between me and Wout. We had a bit of eye contact before the corner, and I could see that Southampton were quite deep into the goal, and there was a bit of space at the edge for Jordan, who was just walking around, and Wout gave me a little nod as if to say, look, cut it back, I'll block the man. And to be creative is what Hughesy, our coach, wants us to do. And yeah, it was just a moment of me and Wout looking at each other, and then I think just Jordan just sort of being on the same page as well.
Just to shoot, and luckily he went in, and it could have gone anywhere, but luckily he went in, so I thank God, I thank everyone, I thank the supporters, I thank my teammates as well for supporting me, for welcoming me. Don't really look at the time when you're playing, but you can feel that you're running out of time. So obviously it was just meant to be, and I thank God for that.
As soon as the goal's gone in, I wanted to celebrate with the lads. I think I tried running over, then I realised the crowd's behind us, so I kind of turn around and beat them to it. And you kind of think, well, better I'll jump in with the crowd here, but I can't jump over because I get a booking. And then all the lads come over and all that. It was, that's the moment football's for. Celebrating with the fans and everybody going crazy in the last minute, which is, there's no better way of winning a football match.
I really, really believe we'll have a good season. So yeah, hopefully we'll continue like this, and the season is still long. So hopefully there'll be more moments like this. As players, we know we have to perform week in, week out, and they deserve it. The only thing we can do is to perform on the pitch and let them enjoy that weekend.
Those are the moments that you want in football. They're the epitome of football. To score in the last minute, a winning goal, and in an important game, an important goal, and it shows the importance of the squad and having people come off the bench to make an impact. And yeah, it was a great moment.
Well, that was Harry Winks and Jordan Ayew there speaking in the box after the game against Southampton. Both of them obviously instrumental in that win. You loved the Harry Winks celebration, didn't you?
I thought he scored himself. And do you know what I loved even more? I mean, set pieces, they've always been so important in football matches. They can win your games, they can lose your games. That's why you spend so much time on set pieces. Obviously, you've got specialised set piece coaches now. I think Harry said there, Andrew Hughes is the set piece coach at Leicester these days. But it's something that they come up with themselves. And sometimes players have to do that. Sometimes they can see something that maybe coaches can't, and they can and it was great to see that Wout Faes had seen something that maybe Southampton were defending that corner, or defending corners slightly deeper than some other sides. And there was plenty of spaces then for someone on the edge of that box, as Jordan Ayew was. I mean, it's a great way to win a game. Ramsdale got his left hand to it, but I think he probably saw it late. The ball went through quite a few bodies, and the celebrations, the scenes in that celebration were fantastic.
Yeah, the reason why I phrased the question a little earlier in the way that I did now, saying who was instrumental in the turnaround, was because you could argue Harry Winks coming on at half time. He immediately was dictating things, not on the pitch, but even to his teammates was saying, you go there, you do that. He comes on, and in 45 minutes, he was vital.
No, without doubt. I mentioned that there were others, but Faso was the standout individual. But yeah, Winks, like I say, mopping up, doing an all-round job. You could see
he wanted it.
Yeah, you could see. Which in fairness, you could always pretty much say about Harry Winks, but I think maybe there was an extra edge to his play, because he'd be slightly sort of affronted that he'd got rested, whichever you want to say, or omitted from the lineup for a game and a half, and he comes back and he certainly proved his point a little bit, didn't he? And made a statement to a degree, and all of a sudden, I think he's got all the players, not that other players haven't, but he's got the players' respect around him for his, not just his football experience and his quality, but his manner as well. How he goes about his business. You know, he talks really sort of constructively, positively to the other players, and he wants to help them as well as help himself and help the team. And you know, just a good all-round team player, isn't he, as well as a classy performer. And I don't, like I say, he's too good to be out of the team too often. But again, it's a good sign that it's not beyond question whether he starts or not. But I mean, with the strike as well there. I mean, we're talking about the set piece, sorry. But in terms of that, I think Leicester deserve so much credit, because I was looking at it from the opposite side, and I was saying to Chris Parrott that I thought the players had gone in too early, because I was like, what are they doing? They're not giving themselves a chance, like, you know, to make the run. I was sort of nudging Chris without saying it sort of loudly, and I was thinking, you know, they're minimising their chances. But then you see what they did, and you're like, oh, fair play.
It's a good job you were proven wrong.
Yeah, no, but I was thinking, like, you know, give yourselves an opportunity, but to have the courage and conviction to try one like that, because if IU kicks it and it sails into the supporters,
you get one chance.
Yeah.
You get one chance in the game.
Yeah, I suppose you're giving yourselves, if you can see that clear opportunity, you're giving yourselves a clear chance of a strike. It's just a gamble if you're putting the ball in the box and competing for it. But even so, like, if he got that horribly wrong, or a Southampton player read it and nicked the ball, you're like, what are you doing? You've got like your last chance.
Put it in.
Saloon, yeah. But they didn't. And they backed themselves, and IU come up with the goods. And like we say, quality strike. All right, it didn't fizz into the top corner, but keeping it down, keeping it on target was an achievement in itself.
Absolutely. Jerry Taggart is on co-commentary duty for us this evening. Won't be interrupting our commentator as much as you clearly were last week, Matt. Jerry, good evening to you. It's quite a warm evening, isn't it, considering we're nearly in November, but you expect the football and the atmosphere will be red hot tonight.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, listen, it's a mild evening. Pitch looks in great nick as well. Players are just going through the warm-up paces at the minute, bit of keep ball. But yeah, it's a East Midlands derby. I'm not too sure how the important the rivalry is to Nottingham Forest, but there's definitely, from a Leicester point of view, this is a massive game, a massive derby game.
Yeah, what are you expecting tonight, Jerry?
Well, it's going to be tough. You know, I don't know if you mentioned Forest stats where they're unbeaten away from home this season. In fact, their away record's better than their home record. So it's going to be a tough game for Forest. So they'll relish coming here with that kind of form. And for Leicester, again, you know, I keep saying it, it's conceding of soft goals. If they can stop that, like they did against Bournemouth in the last home match, then you can see Leicester scoring. But it's going to be a tough night, Dan.
Gerald, Matthew.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, son. Yeah, just a quick one. We've been talking earlier about the lineups and the match-up between the two teams, really. You know, there are similarities right through the starting 11s, really, in terms of sort of quality of individual.
Yeah.
And there, I mean, do you think the game will be in danger of, or the teams cancelling each other out, or do you think it will make for a really exciting encounter? Yeah,
but I think, you know, when you look at Nottingham Forest, I think it's 8 goals they've scored this season. I think that's four less than Leicester. So there is an opportunity that can happen. But you know, you've got to say, down their left-hand side with Moreno and Hudson-Odoi, you know, that looks pretty dangerous. Leicester conceded a couple of goals at the weekend from Southampton's left-hand side. So that's a bit of a red flag area for Leicester. And then again, when you're talking about Leicester, you know, but Buonanotte, tonight Abdul Fattah starts. So it's important that he continues, even though he came on as an impact player against Southampton, you know, what he showed in that half an hour and the man of the match performance. So it's important that he starts the game in that similar vein tonight and gives himself a good hour. So that kind of intensity and threat down the right hand side.
Just finally, Jerry, Chris Wood is in really good form, pretty much since Nuno came in last season, followed that into this season as well now with 5 goals. Would he be the type of striker that you would find difficult to mark? He's obviously big and imposing.
Yeah, I think not really.
Tags wouldn't mind marking him.
Not really, if I'm being honest. He'd be the type of player I'd like to go into battle against. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, thank you very much for that. Then we wish you had your boots on tonight. Then, Jerry, we'll hear from you in about 25 minutes at kick-off, of course, which is at 8 o'clock. It's not the job for Jerry Taggart or Matt Elliott then, it's the job for Caleb Okoli and Wout Fast tonight, Ewan, against a man, like I said, he is in form. Chris Wood, he could have actually had a hat-trick probably against Palace on Monday, did eventually get a goal, keeper maybe could have done better. He won't care about that. He won't care because he's got 5 goals already at the start of this season.
I think he's got
5 of Forest 8, by the way, in the Premier League.
I think he's got something like 19 goals in 39 Premier League appearances.
How old is he now, Chris Wood?
32-ish.
I'm thinking 32.
Yeah. So he's
what a career he's had since he left Leicester, hasn't he?
You know, he's the old-fashioned number 9, if you like.
Yeah.
And I can understand what Tags is saying there. I think someone like yourself and Jerry could dominate him physically, even though he's a strong boy.
I'm not so sure he'd dominate, but rather come up against him, what Tags is saying, than a Michael Owen.
Yeah, because you know he's not going to run away from you.
Yeah.
And I think both Wout Faes and Caleb Okoli, not that I've seen enough of Okoli in all honesty, but he has got that yard of pace. He has got that. They've both got that physical presence that you need, and I think they'll be looking forward to the challenge to stop him from scoring this 6th goal tonight.
Isn't he? Clever, picks up
nice little positions in the box.
Yeah, no, listen, I just mentioned it there that when he left Leicester, I can't remember the exact circumstances, but there was a feeling as if his career would probably take a downward curve after leaving Leicester, and he's done the opposite, really.
Went to Burnley,
yeah, went to Burnley, and okay, like Leicester were doing well over a period of time as well, but the moves he's had in Newcastle as well, wasn't it?
But I think this is the best period in his career now.
Forest, he, but that's what I mean. You're thinking he's not a second string striker, is he? But he's had a strange sort of career, but some real good moves. But he's done better than I thought he would.
Leeds as well, yeah.
Leeds as well, yeah. There you go. What a career he's had, and fair play to him. And he's actually getting better and better, probably, like learning or developing more knowledge, really, which is full credit to him. And that's why I sort of compared the individuals. He's a totally different player to Vardy, but they're both old school in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah, he's remembered fondly, of course, by the Leicester City supporters here at King Power Stadium. They'll be hoping that he does draw a blank, of course, though, this evening. It'd be an interesting one, how the away end maybe greets Steve Cooper, of course. He had some fantastic seasons with tonight's visitors, Nottingham Forest. He is, of course, a Blue through and through now, and he spoke during his pre-match press conference actually about his former side and the great start that they've made to this Premier League season.
Well, we just analyse, every opponent in terms of how we feel that we can play in the game. So our focus really have been on us in terms of, especially being at home. We want it to be away as well, but we're at home on Friday, and we're really looking at our game and how we can implement, our ideas. And every Premier League team you come up against have strengths and super strengths, and Forest will be no different. But we will be aware of that, of course, and they've got a good points return so far. But we are going in the game just really focused on ourselves and on the impact that we can have. And I think that's what's given us our best moments so far in all the games that we've played, is when we've been good at being us. And that's always going to be our main intention.
What do you think those strengths in particular have been? Is it the defence with well, or do you think it's kind of?
Well, obviously, with Chris Wood is a goal scorer, current goal scorer in the team, and to get that you need to create chances for him, and they're good attacking players as well, and athleticism. So yeah, we're aware of all of that, but I repeat, whatever team you play in the Premier League, you can always see what they do well. But you've got to back yourself to do better than the opponent, and that'll be no different on Friday. It's a great game to look forward to.
Is this the perfect kind of game to play after back-to-back wins? An East Midlands derby under the lights at home?
I think it's a perfect game. If it was the first or last game of the season after any sort of form, it's these are games that you want to be part of, you want to take advantage of, not fear. The Premier League is the biggest stage, and then when it's a Friday night game or a Monday night game, it seems an even bigger stage because of the sort of the only game on that day and the media attention and things like that. But the big stage is one you want to be on and one you want to shine on. So to do that, you've really got to not fear it. You've got to show who you are, back yourself, and believe that you and players belong there. And Friday can be a great show for that.
That's Steve Cooper there speaking at his press conference ahead of this game against his former club. How much of a bearing do you think that'll have tonight?
I think it will. I think it's one that he will probably want to win more than any other. I think he'll get a really welcoming ovation from the Forest faithful that have travelled down. The game at the City Ground, I'm not sure what it is. I think he'll get a standing ovation from the Forest fans because they're grateful for what he did. That they've been at the Premier League for so long. And he was mocked to a degree for bringing 22 players in after winning promotion. People don't realise he had to, because they lost 15 players from that promotion-winning squad. So he had to sort of get numbers through the door, kept them in the Premier League. I thought he was very unlucky to lose his job when he did. But Forest's loss is Leicester's gain, and I think he's doing a tremendous job here.
Yeah, well, I'd echo all those sentiments really, and I think in terms of, I don't know what bearing it'll have on the individuals, but they'll be aware. It doesn't make you try any harder, but they're aware of the situation.
You know what it's like, the lads, hey, let's win this one for the gaffer.
There's a little bit, exactly. Yeah. There's a little bit for the manager and the supporters because it's Forest, and there's multiple reasons why they want to keep the winning run going, hopefully, and then obviously, just helps your position all round, and it's just, there's umpteen reasons why it's beneficial to win, to give you that motivation, but that is an extra incentive. Yeah, I can remember in times like, I don't think Martin will mind me saying now, but Martin and Neil used to have a little bit of a thing with Leeds United and David O'Leary in particular. And Martin made us aware of this, and he was like, boys, you make sure you win this for me, because I won't tell you what he said about the manager, so we're like, right, okay, there's a little bit extra on top. Yeah. And we did, by the way, which was a bonus. But it just all adds to it, doesn't it? Everything that we've said before about the remembrance and Vichai and the occasion, and let's hope the game comes up trumps as well.
Leicester have got a certain man up front. If Forest have got Chris Wood, Leicester have got Jamie Vardy. 3 goals for him so far this season. He was speaking ahead of this game with Nottingham Forest and started by reflecting as well on that fantastic victory a week ago, in which he got the equalising goal, of course, in that one.
Yeah, one of those games. I mean, obviously first half not so good, but I think we played into an advantage for them. So I just think we weren't getting obviously the press right to start with up top, and then once that's not right, it has a domino effect, and I think you saw that with the chances that they were creating. But listen, we changed it at half time, come out, got everything right, and like so with the fans, as soon as Jordan puts that ball in right at the end, everyone's over the moon.
Is there anything better than winning a game like that?
No, not when you're 2-0 down, definitely. But I saw a lot of people saying, like on social, that's Leicester down to a T. It's been ups and downs, it's been a roller coaster, and I don't think they'd have wanted it to be won any other way either.
Friday night's a big night for Leicester, obviously a local derby against Nottingham Forest. There's the extra layer of it being Steve's former team as well, but for you guys, for you personally, to have a derby on a Friday night like this, it's what you live for, isn't it?
Yeah, like you say, they're the games that bring out that extra spice, if you like to say it like that. But what we need to realise is it's just another game. There's no point in letting all the hype around it get to yourselves. It's another game. We know it's going to be tough. We want to win. They want to win. It's 11v11, so we'll see what happens on Friday.
And Forest have started well as well, haven't they?
Yeah, started started really well. But like I say, it's the Premier League's one of the best leagues in the world, if not the best, and it's so competitive. It doesn't matter who you're playing. One week to the next, anyone can beat anyone on the day. I mean, if we looked at the Wolves-Man City game at the weekend, that just sums it up. They're at complete opposite ends of the table, but would Man City say the game was easy? No, they wouldn't. And that just sums the Premier League up.
That is, of course, the unmistakable Jamie Vardy previewing this game with Forest this evening. He does indeed start as well for the Foxes, as ever, tonight in the Premier League. There have been, though, 3 changes from the team that beat Southampton a week ago. In come Harry Winks, Abdul Fattahu and Ricardo for his first start of the season in the league at right back. This is the 11 then in full. It's Hermansen in goal, Justin, Fass, Akoli and Ricardo. Winks and Ndidi in the holding role with Mavididi, Buenanotte and Abdul Fattahu in behind Jamie Vardy. Nottingham Forest are unchanged from the team that beat Crystal Palace on Monday evening. They've got Cels in goal, Moreno, Murillo, Milenkovic and Aina across the back four. Dominguez and Yates are the 2 midfielders with Hudson-Odoi, Anderson and Elanga supporting Chris Wood. No spots on the touchline for Nuno Espirito Santo, who serves the second of his 3-match touchline ban as well. Very quickly, final thoughts from the both of you. I feel like this pre-match show has flown by, hasn't it? We had so much to talk about. There is so much to talk about in terms of the game. I guess it's just a case of playing it now, and hopefully it lives up to the expectations.
Well, that's a good sign. There's lots to talk about. There's normally a fair amount of it is positive. It's like, if everyone's down in the dumps and things are a bit of a drag, aren't they? And it's difficult to stretch things out maybe on occasions, but certainly not the case at the moment. I think the season's, at the moment going pretty steadily. You can see the development in the team, albeit small margins as well, isn't it? We've spoken about games that could have gone that way, this way, whichever. But all said and done, Leicester in a relatively healthy position. And tonight, not just because of all the reasons we've said, but many others as well. But the stage is set, isn't it? Go and perform, lads.
I think what Matt said there, all the reasons we've spoken about, maybe one of the biggest reasons, win tonight, you're in the top half of the Premier League.
Yeah.
After what, 9 games?
Mm-hmm. And go a point behind Forest.
That's a massive carrot for me in that home dressing room.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope that they do, of course. 10 minutes to go now until kickoff here at King Power Stadium. That means it is now time to hand you over to your commentary team for this huge Friday night Premier League game of football. Leicester City against rivals Nottingham Forest as the Foxes look to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Can they do it? Well, we'll find out. Jerry Taggart is alongside John Dunn.